All right, welcome back to the 26 and Glencoe Media Podcast. I am your host at Marcus Flowers, aka Flo, aka call me what you want, just don't call me lazy. And today I am here with a person who I've met at the end of my college career. This young, I don't want to call him young man, but he was kind of like a little brother. He graduated high school when I was in my fourth year at Claflin University. But this guy has really set the world on fire through his entrepreneurship and his get it in by all means attitude. I am here with Marvin Goodley. How you doing today, Marvin?
Man, I'm good, Marcus. I'm good, man. Appreciate the intro, brother. I'm doing well.
Man, no worries, no worries. So how has life actually I gotta say I'm still upset with you that you never sold me that MCM fanny pack. Yeah.
Man, my bad, man. It was too milk back then, man. I couldn't let it go.
Nah, I feel you. I feel
Couldn't
you.
let it go.
But how has just life been for you since like last time I saw you, it's like almost 10 years ago.
Yeah, man, it's insane. So since then, I graduated. I was at OW. Went to Howard, majored in economics. Graduated 2017. Worked a few like internships and whatnot in college, like mostly corporate finance. So like Northwestern Mutual. I was a financial analyst with them, and then I had a short stint with JP Morgan as a private banking analyst. And then upon graduating at Howard, I was in Houston with IBM working as a data scientist and a business transformation consultant before I transitioned to Santa Monica to lead Foreign Fitness.
Okay, very cool. So you talked about Foreign Fitness. When did you decide that just IBM wasn't for you anymore? Because I noticed on your Instagram story, you talk about like ownership and self-empowerment, and you've been on this for a while now. But when did you really decide that I can't do this anymore and I have to work for myself?
Man, honestly, it was definitely I always had a bit of that feeling just from doing multiple internships and just not really being able to find my fit or feeling as if just working for someone really was really for me. I always had a very just free spirited and a self starter type mindset. And for me, I realized very early on when you work in a lot of corporate settings, you have somewhat of a glass ceiling, and you don't necessarily get complete. You don't necessarily get to reap the full benefit of the work that you put in. And so I just kind of always knew that when just working at internships, not really being satisfied, wanting to, transition into maybe another sector within the company, but they're saying, oh, no, you have to stay within this, right? So I hated being within a box. Like I always felt as if you had a curiosity within something, you wanted to learn something, you should have that freedom, especially when you're young, to put your interest towards whatever your passions are. And so just not really having that freedom to really extend my knowledge in those areas. And then even at IBM, that was a time period for me where I was very grateful to get exposed to technology, because when I was working in corporate finance, I was kind of like, all right, well, JP Morgan is cool, but I really want to bridge the gap between finance and tech. Let me see what, the tech world is like with IBM. And so once I got that exposure, some coding experience, things like that, I just felt like I got everything I needed. I worked in all the industries I wanted to work in. Even prior to the corporate finance days, I worked on Capitol Hill, because I was in DC and whatnot. And I did that for one summer. So for me, I was able to get that full exposure into the industries that I had most interest in. I just knew that at that moment, I had the tools necessary to go independent.
Nice, very dope. And when you left IBM, did you start Foreign Fitness before you left IBM, or you just left IBM and you started Foreign Fitness after that?
I did, man. So for
Really?
me,
Oh, wow.
yeah. So like with consulting, I was kind of lucky because I was what they call on the bench, where you're not necessarily getting a lot of just project exposure. And so you're basically on standby and until, you're contacted to go into a project site. So with all that additional time I had with just being at home with consulting, I wanted to, find a way to just make money from something I enjoy doing. And I was always working out, I was always just, running a lot during the week, and people just ask me different advice about fitness, things of that nature. So I was like, let me find a way to brand what I do on a lifestyle perspective and capitalize on it. And so that's kind of where Foreign Fitness came from, as just kind of finding a way to just put a name to the brand of, my lifestyle regimen and my fitness routine on a daily basis.
Oh, dope. So you've talked about Foreign Fitness, and is Foreign Fitness, you talked about how it's health and wellness also as tech. Can you explain a little bit more about that?
Yeah, so right now, our business really has two models to it. There's a B2B model, which is business to business, and then B2C model, which is business to customer. And we work with luxury apartments and provide on-site group fitness that specializes in yoga, Pilates, high-intensity interval training, boxing, and also water aerobics, both virtual and also on-site. And so this is currently where, we generate our revenue from. And we also have an app that's being developed. And once this app releases, we'll finally be a full Uber for personal training. So
Nice.
the app is going to allow individuals to order a trainer wherever they are, your home, maybe, some outdoor setting, of course, with COVID. Maybe you're traveling, you're at a hotel in a town, and, you just want a trainer, even though you've never, had any kind of trainer there, right? So just having that access to wellness, because especially now in these current conditions and times, I mean, people are truly starting to understand that, no matter who you are or what you do, the most important thing is your health.
Right.
Realizing everything with COVID and that being such a strong virus, and one of the small tactics opposed to just wearing a mask and social distancing and things of that nature, but it's keeping your immune system strong, being physically fit. And, when you're now seeing that you have viruses that are susceptible to actually killing a human being based off of, any pre-existing conditions. And so that's really just emphasizing that, not from survivor of the fittest, but even just in the world that we live in, that we have to keep our bodies strong, because as we all know, with any virus, they just mutate and become stronger. And so this isn't going to be the last time that the human race has to, fend for itself. And so it's the very, very basic, aspect in life that we just think is just overshadowed by too much of what the day-to-day, hustle and drive of, I got to work and make ends meet and things of that nature. And especially me, even coming from corporate America, I've seen that to where, you do have these, work schedules to where you just don't have that, you don't seem to really have the time. But we have to begin valuing our health or anything else. We want, longevity. It's not just about working until retirement, but it's about building a legacy. You want to enjoy that legacy you build. And so, what good is it for us to burn ourselves so short? And then when it's time for us to share the more precious years of our life, instead we have to have our family take care of us.
Right. No, I completely understand. And what is your you talked about how Foreign Fitness will be like an Uber for personal trainers. Is that the end goal, or what is your ideal end goal when it comes to Foreign Fitness? And what do you want to achieve in a legacy do you want to leave with Foreign Fitness?
So this is definitely going to be $1 billion company, because this is the Amazon for fitness. So you want me to put it into an entire bubble. So we're starting just from now being able to provide, the on-site and virtual fitness access, being able to, once the app is released, order a trainer. But also we're in the process of manufacturing athleisure, both for men and women. We have a yoga collection that we'll be soon releasing. So, being able to release fitness equipment, fitness merchandise, we'll be provide, partnering with different companies to provide dieting and nutritional guides, recovery guides, accessing everything for fitness. For now, we're just in the bubble of yoga, but let's expand to everything from tennis, basketball training, surfing, swimming. There's just so many dynamics of fitness on a global aspect that there's just, opportunity for us to reach. And so the end goal is to be a one-stop shop for fitness.
Nice. Now, so you sound very goal oriented. When you first started Foreign Fitness, did you know that it could get as big as it is now?
Absolutely. I wouldn't have just taken a leap of faith and moved from Houston to Silicon Beach if I didn't believe in it. I knew that it was a market that was untapped, and especially nowadays, prior to even COVID, I always had a firm belief that the new brick and mortar is digital. You see even now, so many storefronts are suffering fiscally from the burdens of their leases. And now, if you are any business, even Walmart, they have an app for when you go inside there and you're shopping. So any company, the new storefront is digital. And so even now, also just realizing that you think about the most successful individuals in this world, the most affluent individuals, how do they live? They live in compounds, right? If you're Richard Branson, Oprah Winfrey, Elon Musk, whoever it is, they're bringing individuals to them. If they need a trainer, they need a cook, whatever it is, everything comes to them. And that's really the lifestyle that anyone really wants to achieve, is one in which, it's convenient. Everything is accessible. You think about why is Amazon so successful? It's at your door service. We live in a service-driven economy in America. And so Amazon, you're now talking about they're in the stages of now, they want to drop droids to where you now can get a droid delivery in the next couple hours. So people want things at their access, on demand immediately. And at the same time, you want to be able to offset, any potential black swan events that could happen. And so for me, I just knew that this is a space that I was going to grow exponentially. And even something I even didn't mention, but when I was working with IBM, I had opportunity to work with machine learning and predictive modeling. And so that's also another area that I want to get to with Foreign. Eventually, we're going to have predictive modeling and machine learning aspects incorporated into it, because why not have fitness, and at the same time, you have a predictive algorithm that's telling you, hey, Marcus, adjust, your squat by this degree to the T. But that smart fitness and that, automatic access to data as you work out, that is what's going to allow individuals to become superhuman long term. And so that's where I see not just, myself, but Foreign Fitness in entirety is being in a position to, help create a superhuman race.
Nice. So you mentioned COVID earlier and how brick and mortar stores have had to adjust, or they've fallen short. How has Foreign Fitness had to adjust during this pandemic?
So we were actually very fortunate based on the pandemic. For us, our business actually increased exponentially at the time. At first, it was a bit uncertain because how we operated, we were working directly at our luxury apartment partners' gyms on site at their facilities. And so when everything happened, all their amenities closed down. So all their amenities closed down, of course, could have had any large group gatherings. And so we were out of operation for about a month, but then we had to pivot, because when you're a startup, that's the most important thing, is being able to pivot on a dime. And so we pivoted into the virtual space. We actually had a client that reached out to us and asked if we could offer it for them. And we said, hey, this is a great opportunity for us to redefine our business model and just expand, what we do. And so, yeah, that's where we just really saw it as an opportunity to just grow and really look at it as an opportunity of hope, as opposed to, fear.
Nice. So I saw this on either the Foreign page or your page, and it was talking about expanding to the East Coast. How was that feeling when you're able to finally expand your business to the opposite coast? How was that feeling?
And it's amazing. It's definitely amazing. It's for us, it's also fairly quick, being that we only began last year. And so even my co-founder, Scotty, who he was actually out here prior in LA, he was working with a design studio before, he separated with them and came full time with Foreign. We knew that we would be in this position, but to be here so soon, and especially to do it, when right now there's so much uncertainty in the markets, and yet, we really just see it once again, right? We don't see fear, but we see hope. And so for us, it's exciting, and really being able to put the test of our business model. How great are we truly? Are we truly one? Are we truly a startup that can expand exponentially? And so for us, we are very excited to just have the opportunity to just prove that on a global level that this is the future.
For sure. Moving past Foreign Fitness for a second, let's talk about your fitness journey and what have you always worked out, or what really motivated you to take your health seriously?
Nah, man, it's funny because I quit sports probably like in middle school. So when I was in high school, I was really focused on getting into the Ivy League schools like Harvard, HYP, Harvard, Yale, Princeton. And so I was like, you know what? If I just focus on academics, I won't need to, do any specific extracurricular like sports. And so I started focusing on sports. And so it wasn't until my sophomore year when I started working at Northwestern Mutual, when I was working at Northwestern Mutual, there was a gym in the building, which is like a really nice gym. So it was like, it's kind of cool to have that access. And then just for me, just studying so many successful individuals, one thing I really realized that was important to them was their health and their fitness. I remember I read about Richard Branson, like swimming, like, a couple miles every morning on Necker Island when he woke up. And even, Jack Dorsey running, 5 miles regularly and things like that. And so I've always been an individual that's competitive and always wanted the edge. And so when I realized that if I could maximize myself physically, that could then translate into my performance in the office, which would then like increase my bottom line because I'll be a better salesman. I have more energy, I have more focus, everything of that nature. And so for me, it was about sophomore year of college when I was like, all right, it's time to get serious, and get my grown man on.
Right. No, for sure. So let's talk about Goodly Capital, that is your venture capital fund.
Yeah, so it's soon to be venture capital fund. Right now, I've structured it as a hedge fund. I started that when I graduated from Howard. Before IBM, I had about a few months off and whatnot. So I took a month and I went to Paris and just focused on, building Goodly Capital. At the time, I was kind of working on since it's an investment focused firm. I was working on different, investment opportunities to risk my hedge on, whatever, just bets I was taking at the time within the financial markets. So Goodly Capital is something I started initially. And when I started, I was like, all right, well, being that it is a hedge fund, because I really wanted to structure it as a holding company, because a lot of the most successful companies look at in the world and some of the most wealthiest individuals, that's how their companies are structured. They're holding companies, whether it's Berkshire Hathaway or even LVMH, Louis Vuitton, Moet Hennessy. Like, these are companies that they don't just have one industry they work in. They own a variety of companies in multiple sectors. Berkshire Hathaway just doesn't do insurance. It's in everything from, real estate. They even have like candy companies, even like Dairy Queen. And so just realizing that a lot of, the most successful companies and also affluent individuals just have very diversified holding companies. That's why I started Goodly Capital, and knowing also with the potential of where I'm going to grow Foreign, that's also going to allow us to have that leverage to be a successful venture capital in the future, because we're able to independently build our own successful unicorn startup.
Nice. What other businesses other than Foreign and Goodly Capital that are you looking at building in the future? Just when it comes to Marvin, what other businesses will you be trying to grow?
In the near future, honestly, post post foreign IPO-ish time period, I could definitely probably see us transitioning into medicinal marijuana. That's also another. I think. I mean, for one, there's just so much opportunity within it, and then you just look at what's going to happen soon on the national level with legalizing, and so that's also another area I want to also get into is medicinal marijuana. I like to only really deal with, for me, even on a health aspect, natural related products. And so even when you look at within the health world, it's just used in so many aspects of recovery and pain relief and things of that nature. And so that's another area, I've always found pretty cool. I think now it's pretty, it's pretty just like fun, right? That you can be a legal drug dealer.
Right.
For a century, so why not go and be, a legal Frank Lucas?
Right. Very cool. So medicinal marijuana, have you already started researching that area when it comes to like medicinal marijuana and what states or cities you want to be in?
Yeah, I definitely have. Me for one, just coming from the South, I think like the South is just going to be an abundant area to be able to get our, be able to get your foot in. So if I could even start from, maybe somewhere local here in LA first, which is where I would definitely want to go. But then essentially be involved in the industry early enough to have access to when it is expanded to like the South, to be in different areas like, South Carolina and like Texas and Florida, and to open like, dispensaries in those areas and whatnot.
Nice. So your goal is to open dispensaries, not just be like a CBD type of company. You do want to open your own dispensary?
Yeah, absolutely not. Yeah, I definitely want to do more so on a dispensary level. Okay. Where you just, provide, once again, like the full range of medicinal marijuana products. Like, why not do the Amazon of also weed, right? I think business, when you kind of go about it, why not take that, Amazon approach of it? So for me, that's where I really want to do it, to where it's a very futuristic, like Apple of marijuana type thing.
Right.
But just for, of course, it's about just having one representation and just Black ownership as well, because some of these industries that so many individuals do well in, it's just no one that looks like me or you.
Right.
So, I don't know. I take it a bit personal. And so it's like, why not have success in these industries where, for one, you think about just even with weed, right? Just so many have been incarcerated over the years, especially within minority communities. And now this is an industry that, since the government is able to capitalize on it from a tax perspective, now, there's millionaires, multimillionaires, even billionaire status level individuals that are working within the space.
Right. No, for sure. You talked about ownership. Why do you just feel like yourself? Why do you feel like ownership is important in this time and age?
So for me, right, I look at things. All right. So for one, right, you always hear about, systemic racism, oppression, and we wonder, how do you fix an unjust society? How do you fix, just civil unrest? And a lot of that is about resource distribution, right? Money makes the world go round. And if you look at how our resources currently being divided amongst the masses from a racial demographic, if I had to ask you right now, right, out of, it's roughly a little over 2,000 billionaires, how many billionaires would you guess are Black?
I think it's about like 3 or 5.
A little short. It's more so roughly now about like 17.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
But still 17 out of 2,000. Like, what is that? That is such a marginal representation and such a marginal fiscal representation. And if you think about just life from a sociological aspect, we as human beings, we operate off of groupism. So we naturally take care and fend for those who look like us. It's why you hear at, certain corporate companies, why do they hire candidates with, with more white sounding names? Because the individuals who are hiring them, it's their name sounds like them. So they think, oh, this individual probably looks like me. Why is it that within corporate America, there isn't a high representation? There isn't diversity. because as human beings, just naturally fend for those who look like ourselves. That's just a natural kinship of us. And so when you look at just the world and those who are in power of resources and economic opportunities, these are predominantly white individuals. And so that's why the opportunities aren't being trickled down into us. And if you also look at, once again, the billionaire standing, the richest billionaire is Dangote in Nigeria, and he's worth 10 billion, right? And you have Bezos, who, he was just over 190 billion, like touching 200 billion. There's a $190 billion gap between the wealthiest Black person and the wealthiest white person in the world. And so why are there so many issues? Because we don't have the economic power to have a say. How can you even, how are we going to be invited to a table when there's a $190 billion difference between us and then the rest of the wealthiest individuals? The last time you ever heard of, an African being the wealthiest person, or even, one of the wealthiest person was Mansa Musa. And he gets fairly little credit for being the wealthiest person in the world. It's often given to, John D. Rockefeller, but Mansa Musa is truly who is an individual that walked the face of the earth and was the wealthiest man. But once again, right, why does he not get that credibility? It's because he's Black. That doesn't play well to, the Western, the Western civilization stigma, and the white superiority complex that, unfortunately, society is filled with.
Yes. Dope. Just a few last things. What books are you currently reading, or have you been reading during the pandemic?
Man, I've recently the most recent thing I read. Let me see here. I recall it's called like the All Blacks. One of my neighbors actually gifted me a book. Give me one moment. I think I placed it around here somewhere. Okay, yeah. So it's a book called Legacy by James Kerr. It's a really good book about just business life. And so this is a book I read during the pandemic, especially with us expanding and having to grow our team, because we have like one team member who's out in Berkeley right now. And so us growing our team exponentially. So this is a book that I really wanted to just kind of read to continue to have like that championship mentality, because we're growing a company. That's really the most important thing, is being able to build a successful team that's cohesive, and also being able to delegate the roles efficiently. And so for me, that's one of my biggest key things, working on my psychology and also just my understanding and emotional intelligence of just individuals and human behavior. Because the more you can just understand individuals, the more you can just have not only a successful company, but you can also just curate more responsive relationships, and just as a whole create a better culture, for your company that will just give you that long-term success.
Yeah, dope, for sure. Well, I just want to say thank you for taking the time out of your busy schedule to chop it up with me. I really appreciate it, and I really love what you're doing. And actually, just seeing you and your just journey with like foreign fitness, and seeing you talk about like ownership every day, that really inspired me to take my health seriously. And even just like working out more and running and walking. Of course, with the pandemic, you can't go to the gym as much. So I just want to thank you for giving me the motivation to start taking my health seriously.
Man, I appreciate that, man. That's definitely for me, that's really what it's all about. One of my favorite verses in the Bible, it says, the glory of young men are their strength, and the beauty of old men are their gray hair. And so I always think about that. That's just like also a way for us to give glory and honor to God in Christ is by taking care of ourselves, man. So for me, man, that means a lot. That I'm just hoping, not only just helping you fulfill your purpose on a bigger level, man. Because I think that's what individuals don't realize, man. Is this that aspect of, man, taking care of yourself, like you are the best investment. Like you, there is no greater asset on this world than you. You know, and that's for every single one of us. And so we got to realize, and there's no price on us. You know, LeBron spends $1 million on his body. That's why he's LeBron James. You know, like that's why he's one of the greatest players to walk on the face of the earth. And so we got to have that same, you know, aspect. It's just like, why not value ourselves? You know, if we're a Lamborghini or a Ferrari, we're not going to go to a Honda dealership for a tune-up. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, we're going to take care of ourselves. We want to make sure that we have the proper maintenance. And so we have to approach that about ourselves, right? I mean, if we have a nice mansion in Malibu, oceanfront, you're not going to let that mansion be dirty. You know what I'm saying? You're going to make sure that it's clean on a regular basis, that it's becoming of yourself. And so we have to invest in ourselves with that same intensity of self-worth and value, because healthy is wealthy.
Dope. Do you have, before we close, do you have anything to plug?
Anything to plug? As in
like where they can find you out online?
Event
stuff you have coming up?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. So you can look us up on Instagram. It's at Foreign Fitness. It's FRGN Fitness, foreign with no vowels. Just stay tuned, honestly, because we have a lot of exciting things on the way. My Instagram is at Marvin Goodley. And then, yeah, you know, just be on the lookout, man. Forbes 2020.
Nice. Dope. I just want to, if you're listening, thank you for tuning in to the 26 and Glencoe Media Network. Follow me on all social media platforms at Flow My Hero. Follow the brand at 26 and Glencoe Media Network. And until next time, peace. All right, everybody. Y'all know who it is, Metro Meta and at One Marcus Flowers. And we'd like to thank you for watching and listening to our content. We'd like to thank you even more if you leave a like, a comment, subscribe. Definitely subscribe. We need that. Subscribe, subscription. And don't forget to share with all your friends and tell us how you feel. And tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend that you got it from 26 and Glencoe Media Network. Keep it real.